So it's March, and of course today March Madness starts officially with the first four. The first game will be Texas Southern taking on Texas Corpus Christi. And yeah, we've got March Madness this year. Real quick, before we get into the actual bracket, I'm going to break down, or not really break down, I'm just going to predict all of the games in the first four. So I'm going to take Texas Southern to win this first one against Corpus Christi. I don't know much about these two squads, but we're going to take Texas Southern. They're favored. We're going to take them. Indiana, Wyoming. I hope Wyoming wins, but Indiana will probably get the job done. And you got Bryant and Wright State. Going to take Bryant with the upset pick. The underdog right now, I think they're plus 3.5. Going to take them to win. And then Rutgers and Notre Dame. We're going to take Notre Dame. Not sold on that Rutgers team at all. So there's the first four. We'll get into the bracket in just a few moments, but first, folks, if you have not yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more here on the channel. We did this bracket last year. Of course, we did March Madness last year. We picked Arkansas to win the entire thing. Didn't entirely go our way with Moses Moody and JD Note. We'll see if it does this year. I don't know if I'm picking the Razorbacks or not. I watch a lot of South Dakota State basketball. I would say I'm a Jackrabbits fan just because I watch them a lot. So if there's any bias, it's going to be with the Jackrabbits, even though I'll say it right now, I think they beat Providence. I don't know, we'll get to that in a second, but yeah, let's get in the bracket. All right, so starting off with the West, first matchup, Gonzaga, Georgia State. I mean, what you want me to say? Gonzaga should win that one. Then we've got Boise State and Memphis. One of the tougher games, honestly, predicted. That's a really close one. Boise State's a really good team. They were ranked at the end of the year, I believe, at around 23. Memphis is a good squad as well, of course, coming from the American. Ever so slightly, though, I'm going to be taking Boise State to pick up the win. Memphis didn't look good in their last game against Houston, so yeah, I'm going to be taking Boise State. UConn, New Mexico State. I don't think New Mexico State honestly offers too much against UConn. We're going to take Connecticut to win. Arkansas and Vermont. Again, I picked Arkansas to win the entire thing last year. And the Razorbacks, we're going to talk more about them as this tournament progresses. But they're such a weird team because sometimes they play lights out basketball. You saw how they beat Auburn when Auburn was number one. They beat them in Arkansas. But I mean, there's just some games where the Razorbacks just don't show up. I'll give you the prime example. When they played A&M in the SEC tournament, they just didn't show up at all, lost by 18 points. Anyways, I think they still beat Vermont. I'm fine with that. Alabama versus Notre Dame, upset pick. We're taking Notre Dame. I'm not sold on Alabama at all. I like the SEC this year. But one of these teams I don't like from the SEC is Alabama. I'm going to take Notre Dame to beat them. Texas Tech, Montana State. Feel like it's a pretty obvious one. We're going to take Texas Tech. We got Davidson to beat Michigan State with the upset right here. I'm not sold on Michigan State, and I don't think Davidson's the best squad, but they're a sneaky team that is a 10 seed right now. The Spartans are just meh this year, really. I mean, they're only minus 1.5 right now. At Davidson, I know they just lost to Richmond in that very close game, but Michigan State didn't look great recently, losing to Purdue, and they barely got by Wisconsin. So yeah, we're going to be taking it Davidson to win that one. Next up, we've got Duke and Cal State Fullerton to close out the first round of the West. Duke's going to beat Cal State Fullerton. I think that's pretty obvious. And now for the South, our first matchup will be Bryant and Arizona. We're taking the Wildcats 116. Yeah, Arizona's not losing that game. Seton Hall, TCU, tough matchup, really. We're going to be taking Texas Christian. I believe this will be the final game of the first round. It's the 7 o'clock game. We're going to take Texas Christian with the upset. They got eliminated in the Big 12 tournament by Kansas, but Seton Hall, I mean, they lost to UConn, but they did go on a roll at the end of the year. They beat Creighton and Georgetown. They beat Georgetown twice, I do believe. But I like this Texas Christian team. I know they went 1-2 with Kansas in their last 3 games with them, but they did split with Kansas in the regular season. They beat Texas at the end of the year as well. Texas just meant, but yeah, I like TCU to pull off the upset. We're going to take them to beat Seton Hall. Houston and UAB. I don't think Alabama Birmingham's that great, so we're going to be taking Houston to win that one. Upset pick here, I'm taking Chattanooga. Yeah, I'm taking Chattanooga, the big upset over Illinois, the first one we're going to have in this video. I'm not sold on Illinois this year. I'm really not. And now, it's not like Chattanooga's the greatest team, but I think they're a really sneaky team here to come into this one, pick up a huge upset. It's a 4-13 matchup, and yeah, we're going to be taking Chattanooga. They're plus 7.5 in this one, but yeah, taking Chattanooga to win. Colorado State, Michigan. I don't think Michigan's good at all. Honestly, I don't even think Michigan should really be in this spot. Colorado State's going to beat them. Tennessee and Longwood. Tennessee might be the best team in college basketball right now. I mean, they got really disrespected with this 3 seed. It's ridiculous that they're even 3. They should be a 2, or hell, you can maybe make the case that they should be a 1 more than they should be a 3. Again, it doesn't make any sense that Tennessee's a 3 seed. They should at least be a 2. Winning the SEC, they're not losing to Longwood, who just got done with beating Winthrop in their conference tournament. But yeah, Tennessee's winning that game. Loyola Chicago and Ohio State. I got Loyola Chicago with the upset. I mean, it's the Sister Jean magic. I mean, that's all I can say with that one. They're the first game on Friday. They're only plus 1.5. Love this upset pick right here. They just got rid of Drake and Northern Iowa in back-to-back games to win their conference tournament. Ohio State's lost 4 out of their last 5, dropping to Penn State in the Big Ten championship or Big Ten conference tournament, losing to Michigan. They beat MSU and they lost to Nebraska and Maryland in the last couple games. Ohio State's not playing good right now, and that's why we like Loyola Chicago to beat them. And then we've got Villanova and Delaware. Obviously, we're taking Villanova to win that one. On to the East, we've got Baylor and Norfolk State. Baylor's winning, obviously. I don't know what you want me to say. They're minus 22.5 for a reason. They're coming off the national championship last year. They're not losing to Norfolk State. Norfolk State in the first round. UNC and Marquette. I don't think North Carolina is the greatest, but they're better than Marquette, honestly, right now. Yeah, I'm taking UNC to win. Then we've got St. Mary's versus the winner of Wyoming and Indiana. I think the Hoosiers and the Cowboys can offer a very tough matchup for St. Mary's in the first round. I would be more inclined to take, obviously, the winner of the Wyoming-Indiana game if it is the Hoosiers. I think the Hoosiers probably will get through Wyoming, even though I do think Wyoming's solid this year. And if Indiana wins that game, I think they go on and they parlay that into beating St. Mary's. And if Wyoming wins, again, I don't feel horribly about taking Wyoming to beat St. Mary's. So I'm going to keep the winner of that 12 game. Whoever wins that one, I think they beat St. Mary's. UCLA and Akron, I mean, UCLA is winning this game. It's a tough matchup for Akron coming out the MAC, winning the MAC tournament. That's going to be all Johnny Juzang and, of course, the UCLA Bruins. Then we've got Texas and Virginia Tech. I'm taking Virginia Tech to pick up the win. Of course, Virginia Tech went on that miracle run basically in the ACC Championship, ACC Tournament Championship. They beat Duke in the finals, and they beat UNC and Duke in back-to-back games. I really like this Virginia Tech team. They're a very sneaky team here at 11 and an 11 spot. I think they beat Texas. I think they get the win there. Purdue and Yale. Yeah, we're not taking the Ivy League school in Yale. I'm not producing another one of these teams. I don't think they're not playing the best basketball right now. Just think they're pretty meh, honestly, but they're still going to beat Yale because Yale is Yale. Murray State and San Francisco. I'm taking the Dons. Yeah, I'm taking the Dons. They played Gonzaga pretty tough in the West Coast tournament. And yeah, I think that San Francisco can pull off an upset here. Murray State's decent. Obviously playing out the Ohio Valley, but I'm going to take San Francisco. I know Murray State started the year well, but we're going to take San Francisco to beat Murray State in an upset pick. And then Kentucky versus St. Peter's. Obviously, we're taking the Wildcats to beat St. Peter's, even though this should really be Tennessee's 2 spot, but whatever. Taking Kentucky to win that. On to now probably the weakest side of the bracket. It's the Midwest. I don't think the Midwest side of the bracket's all that great. Taking Kansas to beat Texas Southern, obviously. I like Creighton in an upset, beating San Diego State ever so slightly. Should be a close one, but yeah, I'm going to be taking Creighton to win that. Got Iowa and Richmond. I like Richmond here. Yeah, I'm taking the 12 seed to beat Iowa. I like the Spiders, man. I really do. I like this team to come out here. I mean, they're sitting at plus 10.5. I think definitely for sure they're going to cover this. I don't think there's a chance in hell they don't lose, or they don't lose by more than 11 points. But Richmond, of course, coming off the win over Davidson. They beat VCU. They beat Dayton at the end of the year. I know they lost to St. Bonnie's, I do believe, but I like them to beat Iowa. I'm not buying into what Iowa's got right now. I know they just beat Purdue, and I know they just won the Big Ten, but still, I like Richmond as a huge upset here, beating the Big Ten tournament champions, and we're taking Richmond here at plus 400 on the money line. Then we got Providence and South Dakota State. I think this is the biggest upset pick, or not the biggest upset pick, but I think this is going to be the pick that the most people are picking as an upset. South Dakota State's not losing to Providence. For one, this South Dakota State team should be like at least an 11 seed. They are the highest scoring offense in all of college basketball, one of the highest scoring offenses in college basketball history. Providence is so mid. I mean, so entirely mid. South Dakota State's playing tremendous basketball right now. Douglas Wilson, there's an injury scare at the North Dakota State game in the Summit League Championship, but still, he's going to be 100%. It looks like Providence, I know they finished the year as the 13th ranked team in the country, but they really stumbled finishing up the season. They lost to Villanova, and they lost to Creighton as well in their conference tournament. I think South Dakota State wins here. I really think they're only plus 2.5 in this one. I like South Dakota State all day long. This team was, 30-3 in the regular season. They didn't lose games in the regular season. They did not lose games. They went on the road. They beat Washington State. They had a close game with Alabama earlier in the year. I really like this squad. They did not lose a single conference game in the Summit, taking South Dakota State to win. LSU and Iowa State going to be taking the Tigers in that one in the 6-11. Wisconsin and Colgate, obviously, we're going to be taking Wisconsin, even though I think Colgate could shock some people in this one, but I do think the Badgers still win. And then we got USC and Miami. Not sold on Miami at all. USC should be able to win, even though the Pac-12 wasn't all that great this year, but I still think Southern California can win. And then Auburn and Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State shouldn't even be in the tournament if, of course, Bellarmine wasn't a D2 transfer. transfer school. Jacksonville State got out of the ASUN. Liberty didn't play that well this year, even though they had Darius McGee, but still, Bellarmine won the entire thing. But of course, Jacksonville State won in the regular season for the ASUN, so that's why they're in there. Auburn's going to absolutely kill that team, so there's that. So on to the round of 32 in the West. Gonzaga's going to beat Boise State. It feels like an obvious pick. Yeah, we're taking Gonzaga to win. I like Arkansas to get through Connecticut. I mean, again, I picked Arkansas to win the entire thing last year, and I like this team again. Am I as confident as it was last year with this Razorbacks team? No, but I still think they beat Connecticut. Texas Tech probably going to beat Notre Dame / Rutgers, just because, again, we don't even know what team we're going to be getting out of that Notre Dame and Rutgers win. Our game, of course, that's going to be played. I think Texas Tech, though, beats either of those teams, and they probably beat Alabama too if Bama gets past whoever wins the first 4 game. And then you got Davidson and Duke. I don't think Davidson's miracle season continues against Duke. Of course, it's Coach K's last year. Duke's not losing to Davidson. That's not how Coach K's going out. So that's how we close out the round of 32 in the West. And on to the South, Arizona. Again, I'm not picking against the 1 seed here in the round of 32. TCU's not horrible, but I mean, they were a team that was kind of struggling. They were somewhat on the bubble at the end of the year. I like Arizona and I like the Wildcats to win that game. I would like to pick Chattanooga here, but I'm taking Houston. Like, I like the run, and I think Chattanooga will get past Illinois. I feel pretty good about that one, but I just can't pick them to beat Illinois and Houston in back-to-back games. We've got the Cougars winning that game. Tennessee and Colorado State. I think Colorado State just matches up really well with Michigan in the first round. That's why I picked them to win. But do I think Colorado State's the best team? Not really. They started the year well non-conference play, but they didn't end it entirely well. Did Colorado State? The Volunteers are so good this year. Again, I said it earlier. They should be at the minimum a 2 seed. Tennessee's going to get past Colorado State. And then Villanova and Loyola Chicago. It should be cool to see Loyola Chicago with yet another. I mean, them beating Ohio State kind of qualifies them again as a Cinderella type team, but it's going to end in the second round. Villanova is going to get past Loyola Chicago, setting up for that very fun Villanova and Tennessee matchup in the Sweet 16. And now the East, we've got Baylor and North Carolina. Baylor is not losing to North Carolina. I'm not picking, and like spoiler, I'm probably not picking Kansas to lose to Creighton either. Like Baylor, again, defending national champs. They're probably not losing to North Carolina. Then we've got either Wyoming and Indiana versus UCLA. Really tempted to take the winner of Wyoming and Indiana over UCLA, but my problem is I don't think Wyoming can beat UCLA. I think Indiana could, but again, I just don't want to risk it. Say Wyoming ends up beating Indiana in the first 4, and then, oh, well, they lose to St. Mary's, and now you're stuck. Obviously, you didn't even get Wyoming in this spot against UCLA. I would consider taking Indiana if I knew for sure Indiana was going to be in this spot, but since the possibility of the Cowboys being in this one, we're going to be taking UCLA, of course, to win in the round of 32. Purdue and Virginia Tech. I really want to take Virginia Tech here, but I can't risk it. I'm going to be taking Purdue ever so slightly. I think Virginia Tech definitely has a shot to win this one, but I'm not picking against Purdue in this game. And then Kentucky and San Francisco. I really want to take San Francisco for some reason, but then I thought about it, and then, yeah, Kentucky's not losing to the Dons, right? I mean, San Francisco, they're a fun team to watch, but they honestly don't stand too much of a chance against Kentucky. Let's be real. Should they beat Murray State? Probably, but I mean, the Racers have a good chance to win that game in the first round. I don't feel confident taking USF going into the Sweet 16, so we're going to be taking the Wildcats to go on and beat San Francisco. And on to the Midwest, we've got Kansas to beat Creighton. Kind of gave it away when we were talking about the East, but Kansas is not losing to Creighton. We don't even know if Creighton's going to be getting past San Diego State. I think they will, but I like Kansas to beat Creighton. Richmond and South Dakota State, you got the 12-13 matchup in the round of 32. Love this, but I don't think Richmond, and honestly, like I said earlier, I don't think Providence is going to be able to keep up with the offense of South Dakota State. The problem with South Dakota State is obviously their defense, but they will always score. Their shooting's always going to be there. They're always going to put points on the board. Them playing Richmond's not going to be a problem at all. South Dakota State is going to run straight through Richmond in this game if it happens. Again, it could be South Dakota State versus Iowa, but I like South Dakota State to absolutely obliterate Richmond. I don't even think this game's close, and then you're going to set up with a matchup with South Dakota State and Kansas in the Sweet 16, which is definitely fun. But I think South Dakota State will pick up their second win in NCAA tournament history, beating Richmond, obviously in this 13-12 matchup. LSU and Wisconsin, like Wisconsin to win this one. Yeah, I mean, Will Wade got fired from LSU, and then, yeah, I just, the Tigers might lose to Iowa State if we're being real, but I like Wisconsin to get rid of them in the round of 32. And then Auburn and USC. We like Auburn, obviously, to beat USC in this matchup. I'm high on the SEC this year. I really am. And we still have Auburn in right now. We still have Kentucky in. We've got Arkansas and we got Tennessee. So in all of our matchups here, all of our Sweet 16s, we've got at least one team from the SEC. And yeah, we're going to be taking Auburn to beat Wisconsin. And here we go, Sweet 16. I did it last year. I'm going to do it again. I'm picking Arkansas to beat Gonzaga. I think Arkansas is going to do it again. I am putting all my eggs into the JD Notae basket, and I think Arkansas upsets Gonzaga. When this team's on, they are very good. When they aren't playing good basketball, though, I mean, they could lose to Vermont. I mean, it just all depends on this Razorbacks team. If they can get on a roll, they can really make a run at things. And if they can get past Vermont and Connecticut, I think they'll have all the momentum on their side. I think they'll really catch Gonzaga here off guard. I think they're going to beat Gonzaga in the Sweet 16. Of course, leading the charge is JD Note, and I think they're going to beat Gonzaga. Texas Tech and Duke. I like Texas Tech here in the upset. Duke isn't playing the best basketball right now, and I really like Texas Tech here coming out the Big 12 to really shock some people, beating Duke, and we're going to be taking two underdogs here in the Sweet 16 in the West in Arkansas and Texas Tech, both moving on to the Elite Eight. And on to the South, Arizona is going to beat Houston. I think Arizona is pretty damn good this season, and I don't think they're losing to a Houston team who honestly didn't have to play the toughest competition to get to this point. I mean, UAB and Chattanooga. Yeah, I like Arizona to beat Houston. Tennessee's beating Villanova. I'm taking yet another SEC school. We're putting two of them into the Elite Eight. Again, I said it earlier, Tennessee's one of the best teams in basketball. They got screwed with their placement in the tournament. It's ridiculous. They're a 3 seed. I think they beat Villanova. This Tennessee team has not lost since February, mid-February, when they lost to Arkansas on the road, when it's always tough to go to Arkansas and play. Obviously, I mean, you saw what happened to Auburn. Tennessee happened when they played at Auburn or at Arkansas. It's a tough place to play. Tennessee's one of the best teams in college basketball right now. Before before the Arkansas game, they didn't lose. I think in SEC play before the Arkansas game. I think it was like all the way back in January when they lost to Kentucky. Tennessee's beating Villanova. I'm really sold on this damn team. I think Tennessee's playing the best basketball right now. They've played all year, and I really like them to beat Villanova. So we're taking Tennessee to come out of that one. And in the East, we're taking the two higher seeds. I'm taking Baylor and I'm taking Kentucky. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 here in the East. I think it's a pretty simple bracket to break down. Even though we did take some underdogs with San Francisco and with Virginia Tech, and then with the winner of Wyoming and Indiana. But I think Baylor gets past UCLA. I think Kentucky gets past Purdue. Again, it's a tough bracket, I think, just with the levels of teams in here, but I think, like, honestly, just predicting it, I don't think it's too tough, because I think the 4 best teams in this bracket are pretty clear, and I think all of them are going to take care of business, and I think Kentucky and Baylor take care of business here in the Sweet 16, both the 1 and 2 seeds moving on to the Elite Eight. And man, do I want to take South Dakota State here. I'm really tempted to do it, but I just can't. I can't pick them to beat Kansas. Yeah, I can't bring myself to pick a South Dakota State team that lost to Alabama earlier this year and lost, I think it was at Montana. I think they lost one game. I just can't bring myself to have them beating Kansas. Like, I'll be honest with you, like 4 years ago, I predicted South Dakota State to win the entire thing. That one year where they had Mike Daum and Skylar Flatton and David Jenkins Jr. The year that they lost to Ohio State in the first round. I picked South Dakota State to go all the way one year when I was in a big pool, and I was just banking that South Dakota State made a miracle run. I love to take him here, but yeah, I can't. I think Kansas would probably be able to shut down the offense of South Dakota State, and once you shut down the offense of SDSU, as long as you're just able to put points on the board, you should be able to beat them, and I think that's what the Jayhawks will be able to do. And then Auburn and Wisconsin, we're riding the wave here in the SEC. I'm taking another SEC school. I think they beat Wisconsin. I think the Tigers win. I picked, we had 4 SEC schools here in the Sweet 16. I predicted all of them to win. I've got 4 out of the 8 in the Elite Eight are SEC schools. Half of them, again, are still from that Elite Eight, and then 3 of them are from the Big 12, 1 from the Pac-12. I like Auburn to go beat Wisconsin. We've got a very Big 12 and SEC heavy Elite Eight. And we're riding with the Razorbacks again. I think Arkansas beats Texas Tech if they truly get to this point. I think the winner of Arkansas and Gonzaga wins the side of the bracket, and I think that's pretty clear. I think those are the 2 best teams in this bracket. Again, I'm not sold on Duke this year. I'm not sold on Texas Tech, really. I'm riding the SEC. We're riding the SEC again. JD Note and the boys over there from Arkansas. Again, I picked the squad to win the entire thing last year. I'm going to be picking them a little bit more this year again. Taking Arkansas, taking the 4 seed to go all the way, move them on to the Final Four, going with the Razorbacks to beat the Texas Tech Red Raiders. And put through yet another SEC school, I'm taking Tennessee. I mean, the SEC this year was a bloodbath. It truly was. I mean, the conference games played in the SEC this year were absolutely crazy. Tennessee and Arkansas were 2 fun teams to watch, but man, again, the disrespect Tennessee's dealing with right now is absolutely insane. It's a shame they're a 3 seed, and I think they're going to prove a lot of people wrong coming up here in this tournament. I'm really big on this Tennessee Tennessee team. They play very good defense. They've got multiple guys who can score at all times. They got James, they got Chandler, they've got Santiago as well. Tennessee's a good squad, man. They're a really good squad. I think they're going to shock a lot of people here. You shouldn't be shocked, but I think they're going to go in there, beat Arizona, and move on now to the Final Four, taking the Volunteers. And the All-SEC Final Four ends here. I'm taking the Baylor Bears to beat Kentucky. Taking the 1 seed, finally going to put a one seed through right here. I just like Baylor over Kentucky. It's that simple. I think Kentucky's a good school, but yeah, I'm taking Baylor. I know they've got some injuries on this team, but still, I think Baylor can win. I like the Bears to go in here, beat Kentucky, move on to the Final Four, and take on Arkansas. Super close one. You got the Kansas Jayhawks and the Auburn Tigers. I feel like this is, the same spot Kansas is in almost every single year. They're a high seed. They're expected to do well, and they just, completely choke in the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight. And sometimes they will, and like there was one year they got to the Final Four and they just absolutely got blown out in the Final Four as well. I don't know, man. I think Kansas beats Auburn. I said it earlier, the Midwest is incredibly weak this year. It's truly bad. Other than Kansas and Auburn and maybe, a dark horse South Dakota State squad, it's a really tough Midwest to pick just because it's very top heavy just with Kansas and Auburn. It's either you like Kansas or you like Auburn. I'm going with the Jayhawks ever so slightly, moving them on to the Final Four to take on the Tennessee Volunteers. And here's your all Big 12 and all SEC Final Four. We're taking Baylor, though, to beat Arkansas. I can't bring myself to pick Arkansas 2 straight years and bring them all the way to the national championship. I did enough, bringing them to the Final Four. Arkansas's a weird team again. I had them beating Texas Tech. I had them beating Gonzaga. It'll really screw over my bracket if I put them all the way in the national championship game, so I'm taking Baylor to beat them. And yeah, could Arkansas definitely lose in the second round of Connecticut? 100%. And could they lose to Vermont in the first round? There's a damn chance they could, but I think they're going to get to this point. I'm going to take Baylor, though, to beat them. I like Baylor to go on a national championship game for the 2nd straight year in a row. And we've got the Volunteers beating Kansas. Do the Jayhawks ever get things done? Not really. I mean, when was the last time they did 2008 with Mario Chalmers? It's been a while. It has been a while. I don't trust Kansas in the spot. I've seen them in the spot a million times. They're hyped up every single March, and I like Tennessee to get the job done in the Final Four. I like Tennessee to win. I love this overall team effort. They're a dangerous team coming out the SEC. They are truly a 1 or 2 seed disguised as a 3 seed. They're going to go in there, beat Kansas, move on to the national championship game. We've got Baylor and Tennessee. Here you go, man. I'm taking, man, it's a tough one to pick. Do we take Baylor 2 years in a row, or do we have, of course, we have Baylor going back to back, or do we think Tennessee can shock a lot of people here? Again, disrespected as a 3 seed, come in here and win the entire thing. Well, damn it, I've got the Tennessee Volunteers. I think Tennessee goes in and beats Baylor. I really like Tennessee. I love the SEC this year. I think there's so many good teams in this SEC conference with Arkansas, with Tennessee, with Auburn, with Kentucky. There's so many schools that could truly make a run at it coming from the Southeastern Conference, and I think Tennessee's that squad. I like Tennessee to win the entire damn thing. I got them beating Baylor in the national championship game, going with the Volunteers to win the entire thing. We took Arkansas last year. We're taking Tennessee this year, rolling with the SEC 2 straight years in a row. Of course, the Volunteers, we are predicting your national champions here in 2022. And folks, thank God for watching my March Madness predictions. Let me know in the comment section down below who you got to win March Madness this year. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure you leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Give a thanks for watching, and Mamba forever.